Sorry about that, guys. What I'm saying, you haven't seen this. This is the second time I've recorded this video. Well, I started 5 minutes and it just stopped. I must have been half asleep and not pressed the record button or something. I don't know. Anyway, well, welcome. Yes, I am in my pyjamas, for those who may have noticed, and the reason was I got up early today on a Sunday at 6 o'clock, wanted a glass of milk, came downstairs, weren't paying that much attention, missed the last step and sort of fell forward and knocked this figure down. I broke the hand off, and this is like a Disney store Han Solo with electric. You press a button and the gun fires a light. Well, it shows a light and it makes a noise. So I knew I wasn't going to go back to sleep, so I went to a shed, got my soldering kit, wires, took this arm apart. The red wire had snapped, so I did get a bit of new red wire, resolder that. Once it's the top of these wires, they don't give you much space, especially on that wire that was connected to the hand itself, so I had to carefully remove a bit of plastic from the wire coating, so I had a bit of metal to solder onto. Very fiddly job. Anyone knows about soldering, you need that 4 hands and fantastic eyesight, which I do not have. I've got this little armature kit that, you know, helps you hold the wires, and it's got a magnifying glass, which if you're desperate it helps a little bit. But anyway, I've got the wires connected, put it back in. There was a bit of plastic that was holding the hand. There was no way that was going back in, so I just used squeezed it back in, used some hot glue to glue the hand back on, and it's fixed. So the moral of the story is, guys, when you go downstairs, just make sure you're 100% fully awake and not half asleep, which you can do sometimes, because you can make a mistake like that and create about 50 minutes work. Well, as that was 6 o'clock morning and it's about 7 o'clock now, I thought, oh, I was going to do a video today, but I've decided to do, I've got loads of stuff to show you on the pickup, but I'm going to do that later after Christmas itself. So I've got a bit of a mini video to do today instead, I thought. And what it is, it's I've got a new mini console. Now, the story behind this was I was watching Tootie's channel, and he had that new light gun set that you can get from a Kickstarter, which is now available in the main stores. And I was looking at that on Argos, and I think, oh, that's a lot of money for about 2 or 3 games. So this is one of the things that would be good when it gets hacked, I suppose. But when I was looking at this thing, it brought up other suggestions of things to buy, and it brought up this console. Now, this console was first available about 5 years ago from Japan. It was £200. It only had about 10 games, and it looked really good, but not many games. But if you import it from Japan, by the time you pay for shipping and custom charges, it'll probably be closer to 300. And so I thought, time went by, I just, you know, almost forgot about it. But now it's available in the UK after all these years, and so I can pick it up for £200, and that's what I did. I did buy it first from the Entertainer. Big mistake. Don't buy them from their website. It's shit, basically. But got lost. The customer services were unhelpful. The refund took forever. I had to open a dispute with PayPal in the end. But anyway, I went back to Argos and ordered it from Argos, and it came within 2 days, so that was good. So what is the console? Well, it is the Capcom Retro Station. It has 5 Mega Man games, 3 SNES games and 2 of the arcade Capcom games, and also has 5 Street Fighter games. Now, why did I get it? Well, I've got the Capcom arcade stick, and being a collector, I thought, oh, it would be nice to have both things. So, and I've done a bit of research, and you can actually hack it, which is what I've done. So, shall we have a look at it? Cut. Right, for comparisons, I've got it against the Taito Mini Arcade Egret 2 Mini. It's got the case. cover on it from these are really good vinyl covers actually from Printer Boy, Mexican company. Anyway, here's the Taito one, and here's the Capcom one. Nice big 8-inch screen, much bigger than a Taito. It's quite well made, to be perfectly honest. It's got 10-watt speaker, a lot of weight, a really beautiful screen with this like highly polished plastic bezel. I assume it's plastic. It looks like glass actually, but you know, these days it's bound to be plastic. So, and the clicky arcade stick. The buttons feel pretty good, very responsive. So what's it like when you turn it on? For those astute of you, may have noticed something different on the opening there. Let's go into Tron. It's made by Tron, this Capcom arcade. Also, I might add, the Capcom's actually painted on the back. It's really, it's a nice piece of kit actually. If you like mini arcades and everything else, and if you've got the Capcom one, I definitely recommend it. Yeah, so you got all your 5 Mega Man and Street Fighter games. You can adjust the screen. You got save states and stuff like that. You got choice of playing the soundtracks to the games too, so and other options. So yeah, but it's got 2 USB ports, and that enables you to connect dongles and a little separate arcade controller. And you can, if you've got 2 machines next to each other and you've got the dongles, you can do 2-player games. But you can hack it, which is what I've done. And if you hack it, you need to have several flash drives. I've got 3 of them. One for Capcom games, one for Neo Geo, and one for arcade. And the reason why you have to have 3 and not just one is that this machine's with USBs and everything else, the machine wasn't designed to deal with flash drives that had large files. Just remove this plastic cover. And so basically you're limited to about 150 small games. But like I said, you've got enough memory to deal with all the Capcom games and Neo Geo, and about 150 arcade games. So on the hack, once you install the hack, you go to Flynn's, and then it takes a while to load up. Now you can get the hack obviously off the internet. There's a good YouTube channel by a guy called Johnny who does a lot of modding. I say modding. Yeah, he installs a lot of hacks that have been done by other people, but he finds all the ROM sets and everything else and does the artwork and things for you. So if you notice on this, it's got, you know, you can see the nice little artwork for the Capcom arcade system. Just go in there, and then you got all your games. And you may say, why have I got a Neo Geo thing there? This is like just like a picture for a little BIOS you need to have for a very few games that won't work without it. Capcom SVS SNK versus Capcom. You need it for that. That game will not work without that little BIOS file, but all the other games will work fine. So it does work with that little BIOS, but you do need to have that little BIOS file there. And if you install the hack, it gives you options of the folders with the BIOS containing each folder along with the artwork for the arcade machine. So yep, you've got all the Capcom games. and you get the idea. And you want to, if you press both for select and start at the same time, it brings you to the menu. You can do your save state, come back, load. Yeah, so yeah, you get the idea. The sound, it's really good sound actually. I should have showed it. Let me go back.
Welcome to the D&D world.
Now, that's on a quarter of a sound, but you can go up to half. You know.
Welcome to the D&D world.
Really loud it can go. It's quite bassy. I would say argue it was a bit too much bass really, but I just have it on a quarter volume and that's plenty loud enough. I'll turn it down now for now anyway. Okay, let's cut out that. Exit. Yeah, so I've got all the Capcom games on there. Johnny did all the artwork, really good. If you do find Johnny on the and you download it from this links to a Google store, you don't have to buy it. It's just where you download the files from. You do need to go through a ROM set. So I found that there's about 3 games that did not work, so they're like Japanese exclusives, so like doubles and stuff, so you just have to delete those. So he's not very tidy when it comes to polishing up his ROM sets, so you do need to check them. And it's the same with the Neo Geo and the arcade games. Again, I found about out of 160, but it was about 10 games were even upside down or not working properly, or didn't work at all really. And if it doesn't work at all, basically it'll kind of quickly just go blank, crash, and it'll either go back to the menu or it'll just go blank and you've got to restart the machine. It's no damage done to the machine. Okay, so let's change the ROM set. And like I said, you're limited to about 150 games. I did try putting, both Neo Geo and Capcom on the same USB stick. It just won't read them. It's a bit too much. And obviously, I imagine you can put SNES games on it if you wanted to, but anything more advanced like Game Boy Advance, I don't think it will cope with it. Why you would want to play Game Boy Advance games on this, I wouldn't know anyway, but so yeah. So what arcade games have we got here? Takes a bit longer because there's lots more games to look at. So you got Truxton. It's got the PGM, the Polygame Master BAS on it as well, just in case you have any ROMs that are based on that system. Really, just make sure you play Samurai Aces, Spring. I mean, I'll just go through. Basically, out of 150 games, you've got all the top shooters from this era. Battle Gregor, all the Psycho games, and Toe Plan. Again, it's got another. This is Strikers 1945. Got a few other Capcom arcade ROMs on there too, but ones that came to other systems. I've got Outzone. You get the picture. Let's go through all of them if you're interested. Unfortunately, it doesn't bring up the number of games at the top like the Neo Geo arcade stick does, and you can't use the same art size. It's a different art size. If you were thinking of using the Neo Geo ROMs and so forth, you can't just swap them over to it. You need to adjust the art size. It takes 2 arts really. It takes a sort of 2D one as well as a 3D one, which is quite nice. Yeah, Kingdom Grand Prix, 2 Robocop games. Yeah, Raiden, classic. Yeah, so that's all the games. So, much better than the 10 stock games that come with it. Okay. Shall I have a quick look at the Neo Geo? Out of interest, these flash drives, I've got a set of 3 from, they're made by Verbatim. One from Amazon, about £17 I think with shipping. Perfect for a job. And I like the fact of the colours, so you obviously can use red for Neo Geo, blue for Capcom, and green for the arcade games. Now, if you download the ROM set and you work with, what I like about this, it's got the actual Neo Geo arcade console art there. I thought that was quite a nice touch. Yeah, if you download a ROM set, especially from Johnny's channel, you think you assume it will look like that, and it does if you're using a PC. But if you're using a Mac, what happens when you install these ROM set as well as the game one, there'll be like a second file which is like a hidden file, and it'll just show up like a SVS, almost like a SNES cart, and it'll go on to the next game. It doesn't do anything, it just shows us a hidden file, which is a bit untidy, and it's a strange thing that Macs do, and when you put it onto certain devices, especially PC devices, it just shows those hidden files, which is a bit of a pain. But there's a software by OnlyX which you can use to get rid of those hidden files. And so, in a minute, if people are interested, if you plan to download these files and you're working on the Mac, I just spend a minute quickly showing you guys, if you're interested, just what to do to get rid of the hidden files. So it just looks like this, as opposed to having like a little second file after each ROM, which only happens if you're working from a Mac. If you're working on a PC, you won't have this problem. But like I said, there was a few doubles and stuff which I had to delete from here. But you get the picture. Eventually, to the end. Okay, and that's it. Okay, what I'll do is this is a 2014. Was it 2013 Mac, and the battery dies after a while, so it doesn't have a very long battery life, so I've got to plug it in all the time. I could get the battery replaced, but you know how it is. You know it's only going to die again after another 6 years, so I'll just keep plugging it in and let's get a new Mac when the time comes when this one doesn't work anymore. Yeah, so the OnlyX, I say OnlyX, it's ONYX. You have to put in your Mac password. It's free software. If you go to look at OnlyX, ONYX on Wikipedia, there'll be a link to their website. You can download the version that's relevant to your Mac operating system, because it's got the latest one. It works right up to titanium. This is not titanium, obviously. I think it's got Monterey, or what it's called. Yeah, so to do it, you just go into Files, go to Apple Double, and then you press select, you choose your flash drive, and then basically it deletes all the hidden files from it. It shows what the hidden files are here. and then go to your flash drive, eject it, and then you can use it on your Capcom arcade machine. However, if you take that USB flash drive and put it back into your Mac and open it up or do anything, the Mac creates more hidden files. So you've got to do this every time you sort of finish working on that your USB flash drive. When you finish it off, just remove the hidden files, and they won't show up on your Capcom arcade machine. Yeah, so that's quite good to know. It took me a while to work it out because I don't think Johnny, who did that, would realise that happened for people who used Macs. And there was one person on one of his videos did ask a question about it and didn't get a reply, but this was about 4 years ago. And so I was trying to hopefully find a solution, but did a bit of general search. And basically that's what it was really. Unfortunately, it's nothing Mac itself does. I mean, Mac that Apple doesn't. There's no software Apple provides themselves to get rid of them, and why they do it, God knows. Okay, guys, that's it for today's. I highly recommend this little Capcom Mini. It's only £200. If you spend about another 15 quid on getting your USB drives out and a few hours messing around. For YouTubers that know me, if you want, just order USB drives, flash drives. It's gonna mess me. I can help you out. Basically, I can do a hard work for you and put them on the flash drives for you. You know, if it's one of the YouTubers I know, and I'll send it off to your way. So that's little no work, because on each of these flash drive, the hack is actually installed it. So basically, you just stick it in a theme for the first time, go to settings, and just do like an update, and it will detect it, and you just update the software, and it's like for version 1.1 it is of the hack. The first version of the hack, there was a few issues that you couldn't go into the original built-in games, and you couldn't use save states, but the guy fixed that. So the latest version of hack, I think there's only like 2 versions of a hack. The latest version addresses that issue, and I think these look quite nice actually on this, like that. You know, I think it's one way of managing it really. Question is, this is probably going to go back in a box for now, because I've got my Star Wars Neo Geo, I mean Pandora box still working, and when that eventually packs up, I will replace that with this, because I think it's got enough basic arcade games for me to deal with. And to be perfectly honest, if I'm playing the Capcom games and the Neo Geo games, I've got the Neo Geo professional arcade stick, and that's probably still a best way of playing it. But being a collector or hoarder, it's nice to have something like this too, and it's good quality, it really is. So I think I'm surprised that they're still making them after all these years, to be perfectly honest. And so it's probably not rare, but I think it will be desirable by people, because it's quite sturdy and well made. It's not lightweight or flimsy or at all really. It's, you know, it's got a bit of meat to it, and like I said, the screen is lovely. It's a really good size to have, this big a size. You can connect this to a TV, of course, if you wish to. So yeah, I think it's you know, it's pretty good. And like I said, the sound does get a bit too bassy if you go really high, but you don't need to go high on it. That's the thing. It's got a headphone jack at the back too, so you can always use external speakers if you rather have a different setup as well, really. So you've got those options. But I think it's pretty good. So that's it, guys. That's my pitch for the Capcom Retro Station by Tron. Thumbs up. Until next time, well, like I say, I'll do another video after Christmas itself with all the pickups, and got quite a few games to show you guys. Okay? Until then, take care and bye-bye.